welcome back to Rise Interviews. I'm really excited today to be speaking with Damien, Mike and Rhiannon from Nexus Education. So we're going to be talking to them kind of all about what Nexus Education is, how they support educators and their establishments, and also their backgrounds in education and their kind of passions in that area as well. So welcome everyone. It's so lovely to see you.
Hi, Kat.
How is everyone?
Yeah, all good on this side. Mike?
Good.
All good. I just said I've got some children in the background that you may hear though, so hopefully that won't affect the interview too much.
No problem. We should just popped in like children in the background on your little banner just in case. Brilliant. So before we kind of dive into Nexus itself, can you all just introduce yourselves, please? I don't know who wants to go first.
Damien.
Yeah, we'll go first then. So I'm Damien Challenger. I am the co-founder of Nexus Education. I'm also Vice Chair of Governors at Scott Gwynedd in Flintshire, and I also sit on my local town council.
I'm Rhiannon Challenger. I do the community side of Nexus and the blogs, the editing. Then also since September, I've just started doing supply teaching assistant. So that's another.
Oh, great.
And
you got the experience. That's cool.
Sorry. And I'm Mike, a bit eager there. I'm the other co-founder of Nexus Education, and I am also a chair of governors in a local primary school.
Brilliant. Yeah, so it's really nice that all of you obviously are working for an education company, but you all still have experience within different settings, so whether as a governor or whether supply TA, so that's really great. Must really help kind of inform what you do to see the present challenges and things in schools.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Being at the forefront of things and knowing what's going on at the coalface, so to speak, it's always interesting. It helps us inform business decisions going forward as well, and helps us better to help our schools, which is also what we're here for, and also help the suppliers get their messaging right as well, to make sure they're on point and delivering
absolutely
value to the schools across the UK.
I think we were governors when we had the idea for Nexus Education as well, and it very much kind of drove where the business has come from and where it's traveling to. So it's good.
No, that's great. So Damien and Mike, can you tell us a little bit more then about what Nexus Education is and why you did found that company?
Yeah, Mike, go for it.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that one. So we effectively founded Nexus Education. We were both, as I say, both Damien and I were working as governors. At the time, probably about 5 years ago now, academisation was a big topic, particularly in my school. And we were talking about, we potentially needed to academise to stay relevant, to stay viable as a school financially. And we went through the due diligence and the process of looking at how we would turn into academy in my group, and the outcome really was we don't necessarily need to be an academy at the moment. We just need to work more collaboratively with other schools in the area. And so we'd looked at, we're already part of local authority groups, let's bring these groups together so we're sharing more, we're looking at potentially procuring together more efficiently. So we're getting the advantages without necessarily the kind of legal lock-in that you get from academisation. So that was a big driver for us, and it kind of just echoed out, didn't it, Damien, really, in terms of building that community of sharing and expanding from there and bringing schools together to share best practices and what they've learned and what's worked, what hasn't.
Yeah. Definitely. I think in the sector as well, obviously Mike and I have worked in the sector previously, we've worked in other sectors, and the needs are always the same between the buyer and the seller in terms of the companies and those pinch points that they experience. And for schools, they don't have enough time to do their own research, go to exhibitions, field sales calls and do all that research. And for suppliers, there's some really good suppliers in the sector who've got great messages and great products that genuinely make a difference. But it's hard for them to get a viable route to market that's cost effective and also delivers results for them. So for us, having that experience and the experience within the schools, we just looked at the platform and thought, well, what can we do that makes it viable for all the stakeholders, basically? And that's That's kind of where next.
Yeah, that all kind of marries up together really nicely. And I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. Schools don't have the time to do the research. And then likewise, yeah, there's often lots of things that could really be supporting them, but they're not able to find out about it. So it's a really nice platform for that communication to happen.
Yeah, definitely. And initially, we actually started off as a blogging platform, as a safe space, which is where Rhiannon, I'm sure, will come in a minute. A safe space for educators to come together and share best practice and ideas. Like Mike's had the other stuff bubbling in the background, but obviously, you know, Kat, as well, with your community, having an engaged community, sharing ideas, it brings you enough like different viewpoints, different ideas, value into the business as well. But also, it gives educators somewhere different to go in and express their views and get help as well.
Absolutely. I think that's really valuable.
I think like on a much more personal level as well, Damien and I were parents and Mike's a parent now. We just want like our kids to have the best education they can, the most support they can, and for them to be the best people they can be. And it's like, if you can help a tiny bit with that, that would be. Yeah.
And if schools can get the right resources to enable that and the right funding and help, then that's going to help to contribute to that for everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. So kind of linking into that then, what would you say are your core values as a company?
So I'll take the first two, Damien.
Yeah, go for it.
So when we started the business, we actually put down a piece of paper and everything and went through the kind of formal structure of, right, this is the reason why I want to start a business, and we hammered out these 4 values as a result, and they kind of overlap a little bit, but the 2 first values we had was transparency, because of a lot of, not just in the education sector and every kind of sales kind of driven environment, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, I think, in hoping that you can kind of dupe people to work.
Some nice jargon in there too,
not actually being transparent, saying what you mean, and you know, this ties in one of the late ones, but holding your hands up when if you get something wrong, if it's not 100% what you kind of hoped it would be, then saying it. Don't try and hide it. So that was a big part of the transparency of what we wanted. Equity as well was the other one of the core values, in that it's equitable for all of the stakeholders within the business, the schools that we work with. They get as much out of it as the suppliers, as much as we are, and that's kind of driven our model with how we run events and everything we run. In fact, giving 20% of our revenue we generate back to the schools that we work with.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
And that's a kind of core driver of that. Also, equity within the family of, you know, we get the time to spend with our families when we're not driven by the business, and having that held above us when one person says, oh, right, well, I've got kids being noisy in the background. Is it okay if I do this interview?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was another one of the core values.
Yeah, that's great though, because obviously they always kind of say you can't really pour from an empty cup. So it's important that if you want to give your best to the educators that you work with, that you're also able to spend that time with your families and you know, personal lives as well. Yeah.
At the end of the day, if we're happy with that sort of side of things, in terms of, and Mike's dynamics changed. Mike's had a baby since we started Nexus as well. So I think when we started, Ollie was only 3 months old, wasn't he?
Yeah. So time flies.
So the dynamics have changed, but we've kept that, and especially through COVID as well, when obviously we kept going through COVID as a business. We were really lucky, fortunate, and we were running events digitally, and it was a healthy pivot for the business in terms of that, but also in our work-life balance. We both work from home now. We were both commuting to an office. Mike was commuting about an hour almost, wasn't it? I worked through traffic and stuff, and myself about half an hour.
Gain so much time back, don't you?
It's got that time back now as well, which is spent with family school runs. But back to the original question. The other two,
what are the other 2 values?
The other 2 core values. So value is one, which links in slightly with what Mike was saying about equity, but also for our suppliers in terms of, you know, return on investment. At the end of the day, everything we do, the funding we provide back to schools, has to come from somewhere, and it comes from the suppliers. I think all too often in education and other sectors as well, the value that suppliers bring to the sector is lost. At the end of the day, without suppliers paying for the conferences, the residentials, the exhibitions, there would be no CPD. So it's important they are engaged stakeholders that are also getting their return back from the events that they do with us, which is where the qualification, all that comes in. So we've built a really rigorous platform that enables us to maximise return on investment for the schools, so value for the schools with their time they're investing, the economies of scale they can access. All from
so you have like for example, I know when we've done events with you before, you do a lot of kind of topic matching and things, don't you, to make sure it's the right event for the right suppliers and for the schools themselves, that they're getting the CPD that they want from the event.
Yeah, 100%. So everything we do has that in mind. Is it a value to the supplier and to the school? And that kind of drives what we're doing. That's why we've run 180 odd events now.
No, it's a lot.
Yeah, I think by Christmas we'll probably have donated over £200,000 to schools as well.
Wow.
2018. Yeah. So, and it's all driven from that. And like Mike said, the accountability side of things, again, links with transparency, but being accountable to the schools in terms of this is what we are, this is what we do, and this is what we'll deliver, and then actually following through and delivering that. And for the suppliers, I think there's lots of suppliers out there who have had their fingers burnt in a number of ways through events, stuff that are not viable routes to market, but they have to do them because of brand awareness. And we want to say, well, actually, this is actually what we're going to deliver. These are the numbers we're going to deliver. This is the match we're going to deliver. And these are your results. And I feel like we've done that today. We've had lots of lessons learned over the years, haven't we, Mike, in terms of formulas and stuff we use to do the matching is always evolving. But having that transparency and accountability means that people trust us. What we say is what we'll do. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of diving in a little bit more into what you do at Nexus, what are some of the many ways that you support educators?
Do you want to start with the blogs?
Yeah. So that's how it started really. I think it was like 6 years ago, because Ollie, our second kid, was just born. So we started off blogging, and I took that up really. And I think the way I do it is the way I am as a person. I'm quite gentle is the word.
Personable.
Kind. But then that's quite authentic, isn't it? In the way that you do it.
Like Mike said, honesty is a massive thing. I think like I go to people and they're telling me very, very personal stuff about their experiences, and all you can do is like try and support them, encourage them. I think a lot of patience, because I know everything we do is free, isn't it? So teachers are already so stuck for time. They're giving their spare time, which I'm also aware of. So I kind of try and make myself available whenever. So if a teacher's messaging me at like 10 p.m. or whatever, I will reply because they've got so much going on in their lives. So I try and be there all the time. I think I'm also quite sympathetic. I think a lot at the start, and now always, we've had a lot of like mental health blogs, and I think I'm very at a position to be sympathetic to that. I know I struggle with stuff, but it's just like the honesty thing again. It's like saying, we get it. We know how hard this is. We know what it's like. I think, so we started off, didn't we, quite small, very small. It was like trying to build that momentum. It was quite a thing. But then we found a few people that really like support us along the way. We had Bassett, who does Gogglebox, Bassett Siddiqui. We've had Simon Hunt, who's always like supported us. Caroline Key. Naomi Clyde Roberts. And we've had Mr. T's NQTs, just these people behind us that we support, but support us. So it's like
it's mutually beneficial.
So I think it's all about, I do it like I would do anything. Patience, kindness.
And like I say, they're giving up their time as well, and they don't receive any sort of monetary gain. They want a space to talk and to share their ideas, and I like to think we provide that as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they come to me and they say it's their first time for blogging or whatever, but it's like, that's fine. Everyone's got a voice. Everyone's got an opinion. We're all people. We've all got stuff going on, and I'm sure, like I say, someone else can either sympathise or learn something from it. It's all mutually beneficial, isn't it?
Well, one thing the policymakers need is to know what's going on the ground, and they need more of that, more than ever.
Yeah, those stories from real people in
Yeah.
those experiences. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you want to pick up on the event side, Mike?
Yeah, I was going to add as well. I think a lot of teachers and educators feel ignored, and because they're in their own kind of insular classrooms going through their daily, not struggles, but every school, every teacher has challenges, and they kind of feel perhaps that they're a bit insulated from the rest of the world. And hopefully we open up that a bit and say, look, there's other people out there that are experiencing it. You can help. You might feel that you're at the end of your tether with teaching, but your knowledge that you've gained could help someone else and could make that difference to them. So yeah, echoing what Rhiannon said there. But the event side of things, I suppose what keeps Nexus ticking in terms of the event space that we do and drives the kind of collaboration between the schools is bringing individual schools together to make them act like one unit, like what we were talking about at the start about looking at academization, and for schools that perhaps don't want to go through academization, or even schools that are academies that want a bit more kind of group feel, group bringing together. We will ask them, okay, what are you struggling with at the moment? What are you interested in? What would you like to know more about? We will then take away that time for them of researching, okay, what solutions are out there for these issues, these interests, these challenges you're having at the moment. And we will invite the ones that are relevant to meet with them in like a speed networking format is basically the easiest way of thinking about it. Where the schools will then provide feedback on the solutions as individuals, but we will bring it all together at the end and say, okay, these were your priorities as a group from analysing those individual needs. This is what you thought of the solutions you saw as a group. And it kind of gives that group validity of, I really like that solution. Oh, the rest of the schools in this group really like that solution too. So there's a reason why that's resonating with us. Let's explore that further. In doing that, we obviously get a lot of data about what schools are looking for but also what schools are liking what they see. And so we can pass that data over to the groups and say, 90% of the 50 schools that on this date with these different solution providers said that this particular solution has a 5 out of 5 potential impact. So perhaps you can look at grouping together and collaborative procurement, group procurement to purchase that and getting a better deal, because it's easier for you to have a single point of contact, but it's easier for us as well.
Absolutely.
So hopefully saving them revenue there, and obviously the direct revenue we get back from the profit shares and the revenue shares that we have with the group we work with.
Makes a big difference, of course.
I think for suppliers, like Mike said there, it's a speed networking format, and speed network has been around in many guises for many years in education. People were doing it back in the 90s and straight to the present day. But what makes it different and for our stakeholders is that qualification, like Mike was saying, and getting that engagement from all the parties and making sure it's right for everybody. So it's right for the schools, it's right for the suppliers, and that matching process ensures that really.
Yeah, absolutely. And beyond the kind of those next working events that you have, are there any other ways that you support the businesses in the education sector that you work with?
So we do a lot of stuff. Obviously, the main route for them is through the matching events, because that's what they want to do in terms of meeting schools and talking. I mean, you've done them in the past as well, Kat.
Yeah.
You've got results from that as well, and that's the main route to market for them. We do a lot of content, blogs, stuff like that. We make sure we tread the line in that whatever we do always has to provide value, like I was saying before, to the school.
Yes, yeah.
So we won't just put anything out there in terms of content. It has to be.
No, and it can't be like a blog from a company that's just an advert or something. It would need to actually be of value to
exactly. And when you log onto the website, nexus.education, just in case anyone's not seen it yet. When you log onto the website, you'll see there's no adverts and stuff on there. We haven't sold space everywhere to else, because we want to keep that agnostic vibe, I suppose, and make sure that we're not selling our soul to the highest bid, and it is driven purely by the schools. And I think that comes across hopefully when schools go on there as well. I think we've got about 1,000 blogs on there now.
But one aspect, sorry to jump in there, Damien. One aspect from talking about we don't have advertising, but where we provide value, because we're getting schools coming in and looking for solutions to issues. Some, we'll get schools now, individual schools contacting us saying, "Oh, can you help us with it?" We had a school contact us about a data protection query, and if we could direct them to anyone. So they're coming to us looking for these things, and we have every provider we work with, or every provider that contacts us, they don't have to pay for the kind of the privilege. We list their specific solution areas onto the website, so they just have to contact us, say, look, this is what we do, these are the kind of pain points that we can solve, and we'll put them on the website, which will link them, and they can, that schools, as they're searching for
they can look for something specific. Absolutely.
And that's something we're growing, isn't it? As the I say, how many data points have we got behind the business now? At least it's at least a million at least. So we're doing a lot of work at the moment in terms of how can we utilize that data to provide value to the marketing teams within these companies as well, and value to the schools to see what other schools are purchasing and what areas are hot topics and stuff like that. But for suppliers, what can that data do and make it work for them? Because obviously it's great data and it's sitting there, and we're working on the moment on that as well. So that's kind of the next step in what we're doing.
Yeah. So this is probably one for Rhiannon, really, which is, can you tell us a bit more about the blogs and also the Nexus Awards as well?
Yeah, so we've done doing the blogs. So I do social media. Twitter's a massive thing. Twitter's our main thing where we get our bloggers from, I'd say. Now it's moving, isn't it, to website inquiries. You've got like a contact us page, and that's a lot's coming from that. But Twitter definitely is where we find most of our bloggers who want to get their voice heard, isn't it? They want to, the edu Twitter, they want to get their voice heard, support each other. They want to help others. So then, of course, then it goes from Twitter across to where we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook. So then they get that across every platform. So then we made the decision, didn't we, in the first few months, didn't we, after we started doing the blogs, that we need to say thank you to these people that are giving up their time and a lot of emotion as well, I think. So then we decided that we'd do the Nexus Awards. So like a thank you to everyone. We've done 4 awards now, I think.
I think so, yeah.
3.
We did digital, didn't we, during COVID? We did Stoke-on-Turn, Tottington, and Uskog winners. So yeah, we tried to use it as sort of a road show almost as well. So our bloggers are based all over all the world now, aren't they? But within the UK, and like Rhiannon said, a thank you in terms of come along, we'll get some great speakers, some food and drink, we'll get out some awards. And we'll just have it as a safe space for everybody to come and join and have a laugh and enjoy themselves. We've got that really well, haven't we? Yeah,
like you said, I think the awards is one thing, isn't it? But then just for teachers with a similar mindset to progression, isn't it? And like outside thought, that they all come together and they can share their experiences and support each other. That was amazing. And obviously,
definitely.
A bit of free food and drink always.
It's always an attraction, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think COVID, that was one of the bonuses we had, is that we could do our awards online. So normally we went to Bury, we went to Shropshire, we've been in North Wales, which are limited to who can come, aren't they? So, but then at digital awards, we had people beaming in from all over the world, people watching from all over the world, which was really nice, because I think sometimes they get forgotten a bit almost. It's like, I think a lot of the support from the beginning was very much America, and then the UK slowly came by. So like a lot of people who were there in the beginning were from America, which we never really, which was,
and they obviously can't attend from,
so they could come and speak and enjoy.
Be part of it on a level, I suppose, without it being the blogs and the social media.
I think it's and I think it's also, it's given people a lot of confidence. I know people who say that, oh, I don't want to blog, I never want to blog, and then they've possibly gone on to win an award or whatever. I think it's just that confidence. Also, they've made friends, and possibly even, like, I know people have gone on to do different stuff, haven't they? And possibly that's given them the confidence to do it. I know people have gone on from teaching, which is obviously a hot topic at the moment, but to do other things, to do extra things. And I think it's I think we've been a bit of a part of that.
There are opportunities out there for teachers. We've had a few teachers drop a day, and we've introduced them to companies we feel is a good ethos match in what they're doing. And we've matched them. So we've had quite a lot of teachers who do work outside of teaching as well, and travel across to different schools to go and talk about how they can improve what they're doing and things that make a difference for them. So there's lots of opportunities for people. It's just they've got to reach out and embrace it, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think if we can keep as much of that experience within education, the
Yeah.
better it be for everyone.
Yeah.
We all hear about the crisis in recruitment, teachers leaving the profession, but it might be that it isn't right for the person teaching. But if we can keep that knowledge and that expertise and those skills still benefiting education, then why not?
Yeah, and I think like Mike said as well, it's like sometimes you're in your class and you do feel like you're all by yourself. So this community, the Twitter, the R.I.S.E, it's a way that you're not by yourself. Do you know what I mean? There are, it might not be the time to leave teaching. It might be, but there might be that support out there. You might find someone who's an amazing friend or whatever, just to keep you going that extra bit longer, a bit of advice. I think that's just, you can't account for that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So possibly a tricky question. What is next for Nexus Education?
Yeah, so it is a tricky question because I think it's so dynamic, isn't it, Damien? We have different ideas every day when we get a school come to us and ask for something, or a supplier come to us and ask for something. We're thinking, we can help with this, but we need to put a bit more work into to kind of get the findings. I think talking about that data that we mentioned before and kind of bringing Nexus forward into this tech world that is very rapidly expanding, that you're helping kind of expose Kat as well, in that there's so much we could do potentially using artificial intelligence. We get so much data behind what schools are looking for, what they're struggling with, what they then go on to think actually makes a difference. And so if we can kind of build some kind of platform from the back of that data that we're using, and it's safe data, it's not like we're selling it, but the data to help drive, okay, if this school sees this solution or has this problem, typically this kind of solution will help with that. So we can make those connections faster and just basically get them connected quicker.
So you're getting that kind of analysis side to the data, almost help you kind of predict things and make connections.
Exactly. It's all very manual at the moment, and it uses there's an element, I suppose, that of Damien, my knowledge from working in the sector, we know to a degree that, but if we actually have that validation behind what we perceive, and Damien mentioned we like to be agnostic. Data, well, you can make it say what you want, but if it's a platform that's telling you agnostically, that's even better. That kind of human.
I think we're quite far down the road in those ideas in terms around the AI and stuff, and we're Mike and I and Rhiannon and Joe as well, but Mike and I in particular, we got accepted onto the NatWest Accelerator, so we're outside of the business. We're trying to arm ourselves with knowledge that we may not have, that's from other sectors, that we can bring into the education sector and implement it. So things around AI and stuff like that is really important. When everyone's jumping on it, but I think the people who will grow with it are the people who jump on it now, but actually use it in a way that can, what am I trying to say, that you can grow around it. So like my and stuff like that, you can keep putting stuff in. It's not just an instant, here's an answer, here we go. It's using it behind the scenes. And again, coming back to our core values, delivering that value to all the stakeholders and make sure it works in the right way. So we're doing that at the moment, and we're trying to arm ourselves with that knowledge outside the sector that we can bring in and hopefully help all of our community as well.
Fantastic. Right, so last question really is just, what is the best way that our readers or listeners can contact you?
I think via the website. So if you go to the website, www.nexus.education, You can go on there, you can find out how to blog, you can register to blog on there and submit your content for Rhiannon to review and go through.
Always looking for new content.
Always. Looking for new content. If you're a supplier, you can go on there as well and inquire through there. And if you're a school who's looking for funding or just got something you need to research and you haven't got the time to do it, let us do it for you. And if you can do that through the website, we're also across all of our social media. So at Nexus. Go on, Rhiannon, I don't know it.
Nexus Ed UK.
So at Nexus Ed UK. So if you look on there, but all of our Twitter handles and stuff are on the website as well.
Yeah, I think we're quite personably approachable. I'd like to think, as Rhiannon most so, definitely. That we're all on social media as well. So if anyone wants to approach us individually and ask us anything, you're more than welcome to. So yeah.
Yeah, I think sometimes a massive company is great, isn't it? But I think I get quite personal messages on Twitter, and I think mostly it's me who's reading them, the Twitter messages. So I just want to reassure people that it's not like going out to everyone in the world.
You've been asked to do it before now, haven't you? Am I speaking to a human or a robot?
Someone thought I was a chatbot, but it's not, because we're very approachable, I think, and it is quite, in a good way, a small business. So I think if people come to us, they come to us. That's
Yeah.
There won't be any judgment from us if they're coming because they want to get out of education. We mentioned it before. It's if we can help share the reasonings and prevent other people from doing it, or help that knowledge for others, then there won't be any judgment from us at all, and we will do all we can to help in any way we can. So please feel free to reach out to us.
Yeah, if you're a cluster group and you want £1,000, definitely reach out and we'll help you with that. That's the core. It drives everything that we do. But like Mike said and Rhiannon said, if you've got any other needs as well, just reach out. And the worst we can say is we can't help, but this person might be able to point you in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, thank you all so much for your time today.
Thanks, Kat.